We are recording, folks. All right. Today we're going to be talking about eating optimally local foods or eating local foods optimally. Optimally meaning eating foods that are healthy for us in the right um, quantities, not overdoing it on one type of food versus the other. So, we're going to be talking about foods, eating them more intentionally, not only to support our health, but also strengthen our connection to our community and reduce our environmental footprint. I mean, who knew eating all these healthy local foods could impact us in such a variety of ways? And so, one of the things about eating locally is good is we have the nutritional benefits. Foods are fresher. You get them right off of the farm or within a few days of the farm, so they're optimally filled with nutrients and they're less bound to go bad quicker. They are picked at the harvest, the peak of freshness, so they're really good. They also, I find, taste more satisfying. Like um, a cantaloupe is sweeter this way. But then you also need to talk about the environmental impact when we are trucking foods from California or from Mexico. We have to worry about these foods not being picked at their ripeness, at the height of their ripeness. They're picked early, so they're ripening off the vine, so they're not getting more nutrients. Then these vehicles are putting out all these emissions into the world, and we are then getting exposed to them either by driving or living or being around it. And then we talk about the packaging waste. Everything comes packaged. The apples come wrapped or they're in a bag. So then that's plastic that's getting exposed to the food that we're eating, which then we get exposed to the plastic. So we avoid that when we choose to eat locally. And then it's a connection to our community. We get to know our farmers, the people that are around us. If we go to a farmer's market, we find community there with other shoppers at the farmer's market. We make a connection to our coffee vendor, maybe, or the guy that we pick up our fish from. We develop a relationship, and then they give us the best quality foods, and we know where the foods come from. So we have a connection to the food and the producer that is giving us these foods or that we're purchasing. They're not giving it to us. And then it also has the economical benefit. So when we are spending our dollars locally, we are supporting our local economy. We are supporting our local farmers who thus support us back by making purchases within our community. So it just ends up being a little local microcosm of economical benefits for everybody. So what does eating in seasons mean? So you have natural variety. I got this link off of the North Carolina government site that talks about what's in season right now or throughout the year. So if we were to look at July right now, we see things like blackberries, tail end of blueberry seasons, beginning of butter beans, cabbage, collards here in North Carolina is a year-round thing. And so you go all the way down and you see what's available from our farmers. And all the way down to nectarines, okra. Anybody know the benefit of okra? It's good for our gastrointestinal tract. It has a lot of that good mucus and nutrients that are good to help heal our bodies. Sweet potatoes, they say they're available year round, but if you know your farmer, they're harvesting them in the fall. You can buy them up until, depending on how good their harvest is, May-ish, if you're buying them locally, unless the farmer had a bounty. So thinking about where we're going to be shopping locally, farmers markets. In Greensboro, we have the corner market. We have the Curb, Greensboro Curb Market. We have the People's Market. And then you have farm stands, like Gate City Harvest has a farm stand. There's a couple other farm stands that I cannot think of right now. But know that when you go shopping in these markets or in your grocery store or your local co-op or your local grocery store, such as Buy Right or Deep Roots, or there's one in High Point called Earth something or other that I can't remember. Um, Navigate, when you're in the farmer's market, take a walk around, look at everything, decide what you want and what you need. And optimally, it's better to go with a list and have your meals planned out for the week. But sometimes it doesn't work that way, and you buy the freshest things and then you plan your meals out. So make sure you walk around and check everything out. So when you're going into a local grocery store, start with the produce section, get all your fresh vegetables and fruits, and then check out your proteins, and then dip in if you are in a store. Um, when you're shopping locally, you're saving money because the foods are not transported as far. So there's several websites you can use to find your local farmers markets or uh, farm stands. There's a website called Local Harvest. I did a little video of it. It just shows you some things. Some of it is not up to date. They talk about two Greensboro downtown farmers market. There's only one Greensboro downtown farmers market. They're also telling you what is in season right now in Greensboro, such as sweet corn, cucumber, eggplant. I made an amazing lasagna eggplant last night. It's just like a mess of stuff put together in a pot, super easy. You don't have to make the layers. So good. Green beans, hot peppers, and it goes on. So lots of good fresh produce. And the nice thing about North Carolina is we have great shoulder seasons that we can produce a lot more variety versus being up north. Then there's the U-Pick farms. So I found this website and it's called Pick Your Own. And then you can choose your state. And then from the state, it gives you the counties within your state. Uh, but actually, you got to go down a little bit further first before you get to the counties, because then you pick your area. So I picked Greensboro Triad, and within the Triad, it gave us the different farmers that are offering you pick. Oh, and before I forget, when you go to a farmer's market or you pick, bring your own bags. Um, there's less waste when you bring your own bags. When you're using fabric bags, you are not exposing your produce to plastics. So see, here's the different counties it talks about. So you're starting to think about, storing your, before talk about storing your food, I have this other subject that I just realized I forgot. I'm gonna go back. Okay, well, I'll stick here, storing your foods. Um, you know, you buy in bulk, you can freeze your berries versus buying only what you need. So buying in bulk, you may end up having too much, may not use it, then you waste money. So, and then if you choose second like looking produce, things that are imperfect, many of us will remember back in the day, there wasn't like the perfect apple, the perfect tomato. There was just tomatoes and apples and you ate them. Even with their little holes and all the stuff, it was still good. And then you want to pick like high nutrient density, dense foods like leafy greens and root vegetables are good for our bodies. I'm going to talk about a fridge audit here in a minute, but I'm going to talk about storing your foods in the fridge. So you want to freeze your foods. That will save them from going bad. So you buy bread, you freeze it. You buy fruits that you're not going to be able to use all the way, freeze them. You can do the same thing with your green beans, with your whatever it is. Some of them you might want to do a little flash cooking, like stick them in some hot water, power cook them halfway, and then drain them, let them cool off, and then put them in the freezer, either in a silicone bag, or you can use a plastic bag and uh, sealer with it. And just know how long things will stay fresh in your freezer, such as bread is good for about 9 months. You can also buy frozen foods, which frozen foods last longer. Store your foods in the refrigerator portion. The crisper drawers keep the carrots crunchy and the celery happy and snappy. It's the best place for fruits and vegetables. Use a high humidity drawer for produce that wilts, like lettuce and greens. Although if you have wilted greens like kale and arugula and some of those hardier ones, you can put it in cold water, even spinach, and it will pop back up, unless with the spinach it's gone too far. Um, and then the door is going to be the warmest spot in the fridge. So use it for condiments, but not perishables like milk. And then the cupboards, you can store cool items in there, like your herbs, your spices, your green bean, your dried beans, and cooking oils. And also you can store your potatoes and onions and garlic there, long as it's cool. If it gets a little bit warm, you want those items to go in the cool part of the refrigerator. And the countertops are great for tomatoes and avocados. However, my kitchen gets too warm. I usually stick half of my avocados in a crisper drawer and wait till I eat most of my avocados and then bring them out so they're not um, ripening so fast. So, back to shopping more
Mary,
often. I'm sorry, did someone say something? Shopping more often, you have to visit the store more often, which some people find challenging or too much time, but you may be wasting less food. There has been a research done when you do like a fridge audit, which I can put into our archives, that the family of four, an average amount, we waste $1,500 of food. So shopping less will save us money. And if we buy foods in various stages of ripeness, it will save us money too. Oops, too far. Okay. So we talk about preparing foods. Taking your fresh vegetables and deciding if you want to roast them, which is really good. Easy, put everything on one pan, a sheet pan, roast everything. You only have one thing to clean up. You can even put your meats on it if you wanted to. Grilling it, that's another quick, easy way. Put everything on skewers, put it on the grill. It's all done. You only have to clean up the grill and the skewers. Frying it, stir frying, you throw everything into one pan and it's done. So there's a lot of different ways to prepare it. You can also make smoothies out of your foods or soups or stews or salads. It's a variety of things. So we want to talk about with our abundance of foods, what we can do. We can preserve them. There's lacto fermenting. I don't know if anybody's done that here, but that's where it's just salt and water, which makes a brine, and you leave it on the countertop for a few days to a few weeks. Depending on what you are fermenting. Like if you buy kimchi in the store, most of the time that is lacto fermented, which is really good. It has minimal ingredients and it's the old historical way of fermenting. But then there is pickling, which is salt, vinegar, and spices. It's a brine, and usually you pickle, most people pickle in the refrigerator. They'll throw the pickles or whatever, carrots or whatever they're pickling in the refrigerator, and that is a quick way to pickle them. The longer process to make it shelf stable requires a hot water bath. Dehydrating, you can dehydrate it in a dehydrator. That will take the bounty and make it last longer in a different form, or at a low temperature in your oven. And then we all know about freezing our foods. So beyond just eating, the benefits of being buying locally is we're making connections, and we all need a community. The more community we have, the more connections we have, the longer we live. And then we get more experiences. If you go and do a U-Pick, it's a social time. You can go with friends, with family, pick whatever produce it is, maybe have a lunch, picnic. It's a great memory thing. And then you have this amazing produce that you can freeze and pickle and dehydrate. So a variety of things you can do with it. And then we all know that food is medicine. So the fresher foods we eat and the less processed foods we eat, the better it is for our bodies. It's easier to assimilate. There's not all this other stuff that our body's trying to decide. Do we like? Do we not like? And it helps us heal our bodies. Kind of the Hippocratic Oath, um, food is medicine. And I can't remember the rest of the quote right now. So, my last question for you guys is let's share, let's talk. I'd love to know your tips, your stories regarding maybe shopping at a farmer's market, maybe going to a U-Pick, tips that you have discovered that work really well in your refrigerator, in your house, way you find